Hello. In this video, I want to talk about a really interesting tool. You may be able to guess it from the title of this directory, and probably the title of the video actually, from Git, and it is called Git Bisect. Now, what Git Bisect does is it allows you to find a particular commit that does something. So, for example, we might want to find a commit that breaks all of the tests that we have in our code. So, if we were to look at this little script I've got at the moment, so I've got a little extra cheeky script. It doesn't matter, I think I've covered this in a previous video, but at the moment I have it failing, right? So if we would run it, there are some failures. Okay, right, great. So what we want to do is we want to have a look at the Git history. So I've just made this a very contrived example. So we have a series of commits. We have 5 commits. We're currently on the head. This is broken. We don't know where in this history of commits that the breakage happened. Maybe it happened here, but we're assuming, in fact, we know that it didn't happen here because we just checked it and we're like, oh no, it didn't happen in this particular commit. So we want to find the actual commit in the history that caused the breakage. So we can use Git Bisect for that. And the way we can do it is we can do this. So you call it by saying Git Bisect start. Okay, now this starts a Git Bisect session, and what we now need to do is we now to give it the first good commit. Sorry, the first bad commit. And we can do that by saying git bad. Git bisect bad, actually. Type that in, and that's all that's doing at the moment. We could give it a commit ID, so head, for example. But we don't have to. We can just say the current commit we're on, just say git bisect bad. And now we need to give it the good commit. So I know, for example, or we don't know, for example, but let's go to our Git log here. Let's say we know it was working here. Okay, so this is this commit ID. If I were to say git bisect good and give it this commit ID here, that's all good. So now we are in the Git Bisect session, and what it's done is it's picked another commit. So what it will do is it uses a binary search, so it'll pick somewhere in the middle, and then it will find out if that's good or bad. If that commit's good, it will ignore it and go forward. If it's not, then it'll go backwards into the older commits. So now what we need to do is we need to check whether our test pass. So we could do this. Okay, so we can run our thing. The test passed. This is okay. So we can say git bisect good. Okay, now it checks out another commit ID. Notice these 2 commit IDs are wrong. They're different. Run it again. Oh no, look at this. Our test has failed, which means that we can now say git bisect bad, and it will say, okay, here's the first bad commit, right? Here's the moron who did it, and here's the date when they did it, and that's the commit that, the commit message they did. It wasn't very helpful. This guy is obviously an idiot and shouldn't be trusted. So what's happened here is we've got the bad commit. Now we can actually go and fix it. Now, one of the things that you may be thinking is, my God, that was a lot of effort. It'll be a better way of finding problems than you may be used to if you're, going through your Git history and then trying to find the bad commit manually, because this is a really good way of doing it. But what if you want to actually just have it run through the Git Bisect and figure out where the problem is itself? Well, we can do that. So if we do a Git Bisect reset, what Git Bisect reset will do is take you back to the initial commit you were on when you started the Git Bisect. So in this case, it's just going to be our head position on the master branch. So let's start again. Let's do a Git Bisect start. Okay, and we know we're on a bad commit, so we need to do Git Bisect bad. And if we do a Git Bisect good on that commit ID that we used earlier, the first commit in our history, we can do that. Now, if we do a Git Bisect run, and then we tell it what it needs to run, right? So in this case, our tests are within the main file. You would have a different way of running your tests most likely, but you can just execute your test or the specific test that's breaking. And what it's going to do is it's going to do exactly what we just did manually a second ago, except for it's going to check for us itself. And if the test passed, it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is fine, this is a good commit. So then it will move on and it will find the first bad commit. So if we enter that now, you can see it went through all of the tests. It found one, so it starts usually on the middle commit because it's doing a binary search. It checks that and goes, oh, this is okay. So what we're then going to do is we are then going to move along to the next commit, which, because there are 5 commits, it starts at 3, which is the middle, and then it's going to move to 4. So 4 is the failing one, and what it does is it then tells us that this is the first failing commit. And then we could do what we needed to do to actually fix that, which it doesn't matter for this example what we needed to do to fix this, because this is just an entirely contrived example to show you what Git Bisect does. So hopefully that's made it a little bit clearer, and hopefully you'll be able to use that to find all the bad commits in your Git history. Thank you very much for watching. Arrivederci.